Hey there and welcome. Every single piece of data out there tells a story. But here's the thing, to actually find that story, you need the right tools. Today, we are going to master the most fundamental tool for any data detective, the MySQL where clause.
So, let's take a look at this, a classic customers table. It's packed with great info, names, cities, ages, but right now, let's be honest, it's just a sea of data. I mean, if you had to find just one specific person in here, good luck, right? This is the core problem we face all the time. So, that brings up a really good question. Looking at this table, how would you actually tell the database, hey, show me only the customers from New York? How do you filter out all that other noise?
And the answer, my friend, is the where clause. I want you to think of it as your data detective's magnifying glass. It's the command that lets us sift through everything and pull out only the records that match the specific clue we're looking for. And you know what? The syntax is actually super straightforward. You select the columns you want, you tell it which table from, and then, this is the magic part. You use where to spell out your condition. That condition is the all-important clue that tells the database exactly what to find. Okay, enough talk, let's get our hands dirty and solve our very first case. We're going to use a simple filter to find a perfect exact match. Remember our big question? We wanted to find customers from New York. Well, this query does exactly that. We're telling it to select everything. That's what the little asterisk means. From our customers table, but only where the value in that city column is exactly New York. It's simple, it's direct, and it's incredibly powerful. And bam! There's our result. The database looked through the whole table, but our where clause was like a bouncer at a club, only letting in the records for John Doe and Robert Johnson. This, right here, is the power of filtering in action. We just turned that whole sea of data into a specific, useful answer. But what happens when just one clue isn't enough? What if you need to get way more specific? Or maybe you need to cast a wider net? This is where we bring in two of the most important tools in our toolkit, the and or operators. They let you combine multiple clues into one single query. So let's start with and. The and operator is all about narrowing your search. It tells the database that for a record to show up, it has to match both conditions. So in this case, a customer must live in Los Angeles and be younger than 30. Both things have to be true. And boom, check out the result. Only Jane Smith makes the cut. Now, why is that? Well, Charlie Wilson is from LA, but he's too old. And Alice Brown is young enough, but she's from Chicago. See? Only Jane satisfied both conditions. So remember, and makes your search much, much stricter. Okay, so what about or? Well, or does the complete opposite. It broadens your search. It tells the database, hey, just show me anyone who matches at least one of these conditions. Here, we're looking for anyone from New York or anyone who's older than 35. And look at this. We get 3 people. Let's break it down. John Doe and Robert Johnson. They're in because they live in New York, so they match the first condition. And Charlie Wilson? He gets in because he's 40, so he matches the second condition. He doesn't live in New York, but with or, that doesn't matter one bit. This side-by-side really nails the difference. On the left, and is the strict detective, demanding a perfect match on 2 specific clues. On the right, or is the detective casting a wide net, happy to bring in anyone who matches at least one of the clues. Just burn this into your brain. And narrows or broadens. All right, you've totally got the basics down. Now it's time to level up. Let's gear up with some advanced tools. These are the specialized techniques a data detective uses to crack those really tough cases. First up, let's talk about comparison operators. We're not just limited to checking if something is equal. We can use greater than, less than, not equal to, all for some really powerful filtering with numbers. Here, we're just asking for all the customers where their age is greater than 30. And no surprises here, right? The result is exactly what we'd expect. Robert Johnson, who's 35, and Charlie Wilson, who's 40. The database just zipped through and kicked out anyone 30 or younger. Super useful for working with numbers. Okay, now this next one, it's a real game changer. The like operator is your go-to for pattern matching. It's perfect for those times you don't know the exact value, but you kind of know what it looks like. That little percent sign, that's a wild card. It basically means any sequence of characters. So we're asking for any name that starts with a J.
And sure enough, our query pulls up John Doe and Jane Smith. It's awesome, right? It's like having a partial description of a suspect. You don't need their full name, just a starting clue. This is so useful for searching through text. And last but not least, in our advanced toolkit, we have the in operator. This is just a much cleaner, more efficient way to check if a value matches anything in a list. Instead of writing where city equals New York or city equals Chicago, we can just say where city in and give it our list. So much better. And our result gives us everyone from our target cities, New York and Chicago. See how much cleaner that query was? It's a really effective and, just as importantly, a readable way to filter when you have a set of possible values. Whew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's just step back for a second and organize everything we've learned into one complete, ready-to-use data detective toolkit. So think of this as your new cheat sheet. You've got your basic equal sign for exact matches, your comparison operators for numbers, the awesome like operator for finding patterns, and the super clean in operator for checking against a list. This is your core set of tools for pretty much any filtering task you'll face. All right, before we wrap up, let's quickly nail down the key takeaways from all this. First, the where clause is your absolute number one essential filter. Second, remember, it always comes after the from clause. Third, use and to narrow a search and or to broaden it. And finally, don't forget your advanced tools like and in to solve those trickier problems. So look, you've now got the magnifying glass, you have the tools to slice and dice massive data sets and pinpoint the exact information you need to tell a story or solve a problem. So the only real question left is, what mysteries are you going to solve? What questions will you ask your data first?